All right, so get comfy, everyone, and let's dive into something pretty cool. Um, Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
It's one of those books that I think almost everyone has heard of,
Oh, yeah.
at least in the self-help space.
Yeah,
You know?
for sure. And maybe you've even read it.
Yeah.
But what if we could, make those habits stick like super glue? That's where this deep dive gets really interesting. We're combining Covey's wisdom with memory taluses
Yeah.
and a touch of sleep science to help you really absorb it all.
It's about making this knowledge like a part of you, not
Yeah.
just something you've read.
Yeah.
We're going to be tapping into how your brain naturally works.
I love that. And we've got some fascinating sources to guide us, right?
Absolutely.
We're talking Covey's book itself.
Of course.
Plus guides on memory palaces.
Yeah.
Those are like mental maps for information.
Yeah.
And even some research on how sleep can boost memory.
One of the key ingredients here is understanding delta waves.
Oh, yeah.
Those are the brainwaves that happen during deep sleep. And some research suggests they might actually play a role in cementing memories.
Whoa.
So while you're snoozing, your brain could be busy filing away all these powerful habits we're about to explore.
So it's almost like a mental workout while you're resting.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay, I like that. Now, you mentioned memory palaces.
Right.
The other piece of the puzzle here.
Yeah, this technique has been around for centuries.
Wow.
Used by everyone from ancient orators to modern memory champions.
It sounds almost magical.
It does.
But it's actually based on a simple principle, right?
Oh, yeah.
Our brains are wired to remember places.
Absolutely.
Think about it. You could probably navigate your home
Oh, yeah.
blindfolded,
Easy.
right?
Yep.
So a memory palace leverages that spatial awareness.
It does.
You take a familiar route, like a walk through your neighborhood,
Yeah,
and mentally assign information to specific locations along the way.
that's the idea.
Okay, so instead of just trying to memorize these abstract concepts, you're anchoring them to vivid images in a place you already know well.
Yeah, you got to make them stick.
Yeah.
And the more senses you engage, sight, sound, smell, even touch,
Oh, wow.
the stronger those memories become.
Okay.
It's like building a multi-sensory experience for your brain to latch onto.
Okay, I'm kind of getting the picture.
Okay.
But how does all of this tie into 7 habits?
Well, Covey's book, it's full of these powerful concepts,
Oh, yeah.
but they can be hard to truly internalize just by reading them, right?
Yeah.
A memory palace helps you transform those abstract ideas into memorable scenes, making them stickier and easier to recall.
Okay, so let's say you want to remember habit 1. Be proactive.
Okay?
Instead of just repeating the phrase,
Right.
you could create a vivid image representing that concept in a specific location within your memory palace.
Exactly. And for this deep dive,
Yeah.
we're going to use a route you're likely familiar with.
Okay.
The big bus tour of Kuala Lumpur.
Ooh, Kuala Lumpur.
It's a linear route, lots of landmarks, perfect for creating our memory palace.
Okay, so let's start building this mental map.
Right.
The first stop on the tour is usually the Petronas Twin Towers, right? Those iconic skyscrapers.
Perfect.
Okay.
Now, how can we represent habit 1? Be proactive at the Petronas Towers.
Okay.
Remember, this habit is all about taking responsibility for your choices and actions,
Right.
focusing on your circle of influence rather than your circle of concern.
What if we imagine ourselves standing at the base of the towers, looking up at those gleaming structures reaching towards the sky?
I like where you're going with this, but we need to make it even more memorable. Perhaps you're not just standing there,
Yeah.
but actively pushing open the massive glass doors at the entrance.
Yes. And as those doors swing open, you feel a rush of cool air and hear the bustling energy of the city. It symbolizes expanding your circle of influence, stepping outside your comfort zone, and taking charge of your life.
Beautifully imagined, you've captured the essence of proactivity in a vivid, multi-sensory scene.
I like it.
Now, imagine moving on to the next stop on the tour,
Go.
the KL Tower, another towering structure.
Okay.
It has a revolving restaurant at the top.
Cool.
This is where we'll place habit 2. Begin with the end in mind.
Okay, so this habit is all about having a clear vision of your goals and values
It is.
and making decisions that align with that vision.
Right.
How do we turn that into a memorable image at the KL Tower?
Well, picture this.
Okay.
You're sitting in that revolving restaurant, enjoying a delicious meal while taking in the panoramic views of the city.
Okay, yeah.
But here's the twist. On each table, there's a blueprint,
A blueprint.
Not just any blueprint, a detailed plan of your ideal life.
Oh, wow.
Your goals, your values, the legacy you want to leave behind.
Okay.
As the restaurant revolves, you constantly see different aspects of your life reflected in those plans, reminding you to keep your end goals in mind with every decision you make.
That's brilliant. It's like having a constant visual reminder of your personal mission statement, guiding your actions and choices.
Exactly. And since you're experiencing it all while enjoying like a delicious meal and stunning views, it creates a positive association with the habit itself.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm loving this mental tour so far.
Good.
Next stop on the big bus route is Merdeka Square.
Okay.
It's a historical plaza known for its beautiful colonial architecture.
It is.
What could we place there to represent Habit 3? But first things first.
Merdeka Square is often just bustling with activity.
Yeah.
A great spot to visualize Covey's time management matrix.
I can see that.
Picture this. The square itself is transformed into a giant version of that matrix, with each quadrant clearly marked.
Okay, I can see it. The Sultan Abdul Samad building, with its impressive clock tower,
Yes,
could represent Quadrant 1,
it could.
those urgent and important tasks that demand immediate attention.
And imagine the Royal Selangor Club,
Okay.
with its relaxed social atmosphere, representing Quadrant 3.
Yeah.
Those urgent but not important distractions that often derail us.
Right.
Then there's the Textile Museum, tucked away on one side of the square.
Okay.
It could be Quadrant 4. The not urgent, not important time wasters we often use to escape from the demands of the other quadrants.
Yeah, like that.
You're getting the hang of this. Now imagine that in the center of the square, where there's usually a peaceful park,
Yeah.
there's a giant glowing Quadrant 2.
Wow. I love that visual. The park, representing those important but not urgent activities, planning, relationship building, personal development,
That's it.
is the brightest and most prominent part of the square.
Exactly. And as you walk towards that glowing Quadrant 2,
Yeah.
you notice that the other quadrants actually start to fade in comparison,
Yeah.
symbolizing how prioritizing those essential activities actually helps you manage the demands of the other quadrants more effectively.
Okay, this memory palace is getting more and more vivid with every stop.
Good, good.
Next up on the tour is the National Mosque of Malaysia, a stunning example of modern Islamic architecture.
Yeah.
How can we embody Habit 4? Think win-win in this location.
Imagine approaching the mosque and seeing two groups of people,
Okay.
each representing different backgrounds or perspectives, initially standing apart.
Okay, I can picture that. Maybe one group is wearing traditional Malaysian clothing and the other is in like Western attire.
Exactly. They seem hesitant at first, unsure of how to interact,
Oh,
but then as they get closer to the entrance, something shifts. They make eye contact, smiles break out.
I like it.
A representative from each group steps forward.
And they shake hands.
Yes, a simple gesture of respect and a willingness to find common ground.
Right.
And then something even more remarkable happens.
Okay.
They link arms and walk into the mosque together,
Wow.
demonstrating a shared commitment to collaboration and understanding.
That's powerful. And the mosque itself, with its serene atmosphere and emphasis on unity, reinforces the idea of seeking mutually beneficial solutions, embracing diversity and building bridges instead of walls.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
You've captured the essence of Habit 4.
Thanks.
Now let's move on to the next stop on our memory journey, the Batu Caves.
Oh, the Batu Caves.
Yeah, have you heard of them?
Yeah, I've heard those caves are incredible.
They're something else.
A series of limestone caverns and Hindu shrines.
Yeah.
What a perfect setting for Habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood.
You're right. The caves themselves, with their dark recesses and echoing sounds, lend themselves perfectly to this habit.
Sure.
Imagine standing at the entrance of the largest cave, the Temple Cave.
Okay, I'm there. It's a vast space with sunlight streaming in from the opening above.
Okay.
But it's also cool, quiet, and filled with a sense of mystery.
Now, imagine that as you stand there, you hear faint voices echoing from deep within the cave.
Yeah.
Each voice represents a different perspective,
I like
a
it.
different way of seeing the world.
Intriguing. It's like the whispers of all those diverse viewpoints you encounter in life.
It is.
Waiting to be heard and understood.
Instead of rushing to respond or offer your own opinion,
Yeah.
you simply stand there and listen intently,
Yeah.
You let those voices wash over you, trying to grasp the nuances of each perspective.
Right.
It's a powerful image of putting aside your own assumptions and judgments.
Right.
And truly opening yourself to the worldviews of others.
I like it.
And the echoing nature of the caves emphasizes that seeking to understand is an ongoing process.
Right.
It requires patience, humility, and a willingness to listen deeply.
This memory palace is turning into quite the adventure.
Right.
What's next on our Kuala Lumpur tour?
Our sixth stop is Chinatown,
Okay.
a vibrant district known for its bustling markets, delicious street food,
Oh, yeah.
and a unique cultural blend.
Perfect.
It's the perfect setting for habit 6, synergize.
Synergy.
Yeah, the idea that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts.
Right.
It's about collaboration, creativity,
Yeah.
and achieving those extraordinary results by working together.
How can we represent that concept in the heart of Chinatown?
Imagine a bustling street food market in the heart of Chinatown.
Okay.
There are like dozens of stalls, each offering a unique culinary specialty.
Okay, I can practically smell the delicious aromas. There's a sizzling satay, steaming dim sum, fragrant curries, colorful displays of tropical fruits. It's a sensory overload in the best possible way.
Now imagine that instead of competing for customers,
Yeah.
these street food vendors decide to collaborate.
Okay.
They pool their resources, share their secret recipes,
Okay.
and create like a new fusion dish
Okay.
that combines the best elements of each of their cuisines.
Ooh, that sounds amazing. It's a culinary masterpiece that none of them could have created alone.
Exactly. And the bustling energy of the market, with people from all walks of life coming together to enjoy this delicious creation, it reinforces the idea that synergy is about celebrating diversity,
Yeah.
embracing creativity,
Right.
and recognizing that collaboration can lead to extraordinary outcomes.
All right, we're nearing the end of our Memory Palace tour. What's the final stop on our Kuala Lumpur adventure?
Our last stop is Thian Hao Temple, a beautiful 6-tiered Chinese temple,
Okay.
perched on a hill overlooking the city.
Right.
It's a serene and peaceful location,
Nice.
making it an ideal spot to represent Habit 7, sharpen the saw.
Sharpen the saw.
That's about continuous self-renewal.
Right. Taking care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually.
Precisely. And the temple, with its emphasis on balance and harmony, provides the perfect setting.
Okay.
Imagine the temple divided into 4 distinct areas,
Okay.
each representing one of the dimensions of renewal.
Okay, I'm visualizing it. In the courtyard, there's a group of people practicing Tai Chi. Their movements are slow, graceful, and focused, embodying the physical dimension of self-renewal.
Then, you enter the main shrine, a tranquil space filled with the scent of incense. People are sitting quietly in meditation, their eyes closed, their breathing deep and even. This represents the spiritual aspect of renewal.
As you ascend to the next tier,
Okay.
you discover a peaceful library filled with books on a wide range of subjects: philosophy, history, science, literature.
Good.
People are reading intently, their minds engaged in the pursuit of knowledge and mental stimulation.
And finally, you reach the top tier, where there's a beautiful tea house overlooking the city.
Okay.
People are gathered around tables, enjoying tea and conversation, laughing and sharing stories. This represents the social and emotional dimension of renewal.
It's a beautiful image of holistic self-care, nurturing every aspect of your well-being.
Exactly. And the serene beauty of Thian Hao Temple reinforces the idea that sharpening the saw is not a luxury, but a necessity for living a fulfilling and effective life.
Wow, what an incredible journey through the world of memory palaces and personal effectiveness.
We've explored the power of memory palaces, walked a virtual route through Kuala Lumpur,
Right.
and populated it with vivid, multi-sensory images representing Stephen Covey's 7 habits.
But there's still one more intriguing element to consider:
Oh,
the potential of sleep learning to further enhance this process.
that's where we'll pick up next time.
All right, I'm excited for that.
Stay tuned. Welcome back to the deep dive. Last time we took a mental stroll through Kuala Lumpur, transforming landmarks into memory palaces for Stephen Covey's 7 habits.
That was quite the tour.
It was.
Huh.
And now we're going to explore how sleep can actually like supercharge that learning.
Okay, this is the part I've been both excited and skeptical about.
Right.
I mean, learning while you sleep, that's some next level stuff.
It might sound futuristic,
Yeah.
but it ties into how our brains already work
Okay.
during deep sleep.
Yeah.
We produce delta waves.
Yeah.
Those slow brainwaves associated with the most restorative sleep.
Okay, yeah. I remember reading about delta waves. It's that phase where you're really out, like no dreams,
Right.
just pure recharging.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And some studies suggest
Yeah.
that playing audio recordings of learned information
Okay.
while in this delta wave state
Yeah.
might actually help strengthen those memories.
So it's not like cramming an entire textbook into your sleeping brain,
No,
but more about giving it a gentle nudge to reinforce what you've already been working on.
precisely. Imagine you spend the day like exploring your Kuala Lumpur memory palace, making those vivid images for each habit.
Right.
Then as you drift off, you play a recording of yourself describing those images and the concepts they represent.
So while I'm off in dreamland, my brain is subtly strengthening those connections, making it even more likely I'll remember those habits later on.
That's the idea. The research is still ongoing,
Yeah.
but the idea is that delta waves create a state where the brain is more receptive to passively absorbing this kind of information.
This is mind-blowing. But it's important to remember, this isn't a magic bullet, right?
No.
You still have to put in the work to learn the material properly in the first place.
Absolutely. Think of it like athletic training.
Okay.
Sleep and this delta wave technique.
Yeah.
They're like recovery time.
Okay.
That helps your muscles grow stronger after the workout.
Right.
The real effort happens when you're awake and engaging with the material.
So for our listeners who really want to make these 7 habits a part of them, the key is to combine the memory palace work we've done
Yeah.
with some strategic sleep time reinforcement.
Exactly. It's a two-pronged approach for maximizing learning.
I like it.
Now, let's shift gears a bit and dive deeper into some of those habits, ensuring we've got really solid imagery in place.
Okay, let's do it.
Mhm.
I'm flipping back through Covey's book here, and something that always stood out to me was the concept of the emotional bank account.
Ah, yes. That's a powerful metaphor for building trust in relationships.
Yeah,
Covey argues that every interaction is either a deposit or a withdrawal.
right. Kindness, keeping promises, really listening, those are deposits.
They are.
Being unkind, breaking promises, dismissing someone's feelings, those are withdrawals.
It's so true.
And just like a financial bank account, if you keep making withdrawals, you'll eventually end up overdrawn,
Overdrawn, yeah.
leading to strained relationships.
Right, big time.
Covey emphasizes consistent deposits to build a strong reserve of trust.
It's like anything, you got to keep putting in the effort.
Okay, so how do we fit this concept into our Kuala Lumpur memory palace? We've already got those first 3 habits nicely placed.
Well, let's see.
Yeah.
The fourth stop on our bus tour is the National Mosque of Malaysia.
Okay.
Remember how we visualized 2 groups coming together
Yeah.
in a spirit of collaboration for habit 4? Think win-win.
Yes. They shook hands and walked into the mosque together. It was a powerful image of finding common ground.
Building on that,
Yeah.
what if we add a new layer to that scene? As those 2 groups enter the mosque,
Okay.
they pass by a giant, ornate fountain.
Ooh, I like it. Fountains often symbolize abundance and flow.
Exactly. And this fountain,
Yeah.
it's overflowing with shimmering gold coins. Each coin represents a deposit in the emotional bank account. A kind word, a thoughtful gesture, a moment of genuine connection.
So as those groups walk past, they each take a handful of those gold coins and deposit them into a giant treasure chest placed at the entrance of the mosque.
Beautifully imagined. It reinforces the idea that building strong relationships requires consistent effort and positive interactions.
It does.
And the mosque, with its emphasis on peace and unity, further strengthens that association.
Okay, that scene is definitely logged in my memory palace.
Yeah.
Now, flipping through the book,
Okay.
Habit 5,
Yeah,
seek first to understand, then to be understood.
right.
That's a tough one to truly put into practice sometimes.
It's powerful, but it requires stepping outside our own ego
Yeah.
and truly listening with the intent to understand, not just respond.
Yeah, and we placed this habit in the Batu caves, right? Those limestone caverns with the echoing voices.
Yes, we imagined you standing at the entrance,
Right.
listening to the whispers of different perspectives coming from deep within the cave.
To make that scene even richer,
Yeah.
what if, as we're listening to those voices, we notice something on the cave walls?
Ooh, I like where you're going with this.
Okay.
What if those walls are covered in ancient petroglyphs?
Yes. And each petroglyph tells a different story, representing the unique experiences and perspectives of the people whose voices we're hearing.
Brilliant. As you listen to each voice, you focus on the corresponding petroglyph, trying to decipher its meaning,
Right.
understanding the story it tells.
Yeah, it emphasizes that each person has a rich history, a unique set of experiences that shape their worldview.
Right?
And by taking the time to understand those stories, we can bridge the gaps between us.
Exactly. The act of deciphering those ancient symbols further reinforces the effort required to truly understand another person's perspective.
Okay, I'm really seeing how these memory palaces work. It's like transforming abstract concepts into something tangible and engaging.
That's it.
What's next on our list?
Habit 6, synergize.
Okay.
We place this one in the bustling heart of Chinatown, amidst the energy of a street food market.
Yes. And we imagine the vendors collaborating to create a delicious fusion dish, symbolizing the power of synergy. How can we make that scene even more memorable?
Imagine that as the vendors are creating this dish,
Yeah.
they're not just working together silently, they're
Right.
actually singing.
Singing. That's unexpected.
Not just any song, but a traditional Chinese opera piece,
Oh, wow.
full of dramatic flourishes and soaring melodies.
Huh.
And as they sing,
Yeah.
their voices blend together, creating a harmonious whole that's even more powerful than the individual parts.
Wow, that's a fantastic image.
Yeah.
It captures both the energy and the collaborative spirit of synergy.
Exactly. The opera music, with its blend of different voices and instruments, perfectly symbolizes the idea that diverse perspectives and talents can come together to create something truly extraordinary.
Okay, one last stop on our mental tour.
Right?
The Yin Hao Temple,
Okay.
our tranquil spot for habit 7. Sharpen the saw.
We visualize the temple divided into 4 areas,
Yeah.
representing the physical, spiritual, mental, and social emotional dimensions of renewal.
Right, and we had you engaging in different activities in each area: Tai Chi, meditation, reading, enjoying tea with friends.
Right?
To make that final scene even more impactful, what if we add a specific sensory element?
Oh, I love that idea.
Right.
What if, as you're moving through those areas,
Yeah.
you notice a distinct scent in each one?
Yes. In the courtyard where people are practicing Tai Chi, there's a fresh, earthy smell,
Okay.
like the scent of pine needles and damp soil,
Okay.
grounding you in the physical world.
I love it.
Then, in the main shrine, the air is filled with the sweet, calming fragrance of sandalwood incense, promoting a sense of peace and spiritual connection.
Beautiful.
As you enter the library,
Yeah.
the scent shifts to something richer and more complex, the aroma of old books and leather, stimulating your mind and inviting you to explore new ideas.
Love that.
And finally, in the tea house,
Okay.
the air is filled with a warm, inviting aroma of jasmine tea,
Yep.
creating a sense of comfort and connection with the people around you.
It's like a multi-sensory experience of self-renewal.
It is.
Each scent adds another layer of meaning to the scene, making it even more memorable.
Wow, it's like a multi-sensory experience of self-renewal.
Mm-hmm.
Each scent adds another layer of meaning to the scene, making it even more memorable.
Exactly. By engaging multiple senses, we're creating a richer and more vivid memory experience,
Yeah.
which in turn helps those habits stick.
Okay, I'm feeling pretty confident about my Kuala Lumpur memory palace now.
Yeah.
We've explored those 7 habits in detail,
Yeah.
created vivid images for each one, and even added some sensory layers to enhance the experience.
Excellent. Now that you've got this mental map firmly in place,
Yeah.
it's time to explore how we can use those delta waves to further solidify those memories. That's where we'll pick up in part 3.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into the 7 habits of highly effective people. We've taken you on a mental tour of Kuala Lumpur, turning landmarks into memory palaces, and now we're going to explore that fascinating world of sleep learning.
We've talked about delta waves before, those slow, rhythmic brainwaves that happen during deep sleep.
Right, yeah.
Some research suggests that playing audio recordings of information you've learned while you're in this delta wave state
Yeah.
might actually help strengthen those memories.
Okay, so it sounds almost too good to be true.
Right, it does.
Like I could just hit play on a recording before I go to sleep, and my brain will magically absorb all this knowledge.
It's not magic, but it taps into the power of your subconscious mind,
Right.
Think of it this way. You've spent time consciously creating those vivid images and associations in your Kuala Lumpur memory palace.
Yeah.
Now, by playing those descriptions back to yourself as you drift off to sleep, you're essentially giving your brain a gentle reminder while it's in a relaxed and receptive state.
So while my conscious mind is off in dreamland, my subconscious is quietly absorbing those 7 habits, reinforcing those neural connections.
Exactly. And while the research is still in its early stages,
Right.
there's growing evidence suggesting that this type of sleep-assisted learning
Yeah.
can be surprisingly effective for consolidating memories.
That's wild. So for our listeners who are ready to give this a try,
Yeah.
how exactly would they go about creating a sleep learning recording?
Well, it's actually pretty simple.
Okay.
The key is to keep it concise and focused.
Yes.
Imagine yourself walking through your Kuala Lumpur memory palace, pausing at each location,
Right.
and clearly describing the image
Yeah.
and the habit it represents.
Okay. So for example, I might start at the Petronas Towers
Okay.
and say something like, I push open those massive glass doors, feeling the rush of cool air and the energy of the city. This reminds me of habit 1. Be proactive, taking charge of my circle of influence and making things happen.
Exactly. Keep your language vivid and engaging, drawing on those sensory details we've been emphasizing throughout this whole deep dive.
Right, right.
And don't be afraid to get creative with your descriptions.
Yeah.
The more memorable, the better.
Yeah, for sure. Then I'd move on to the KL Tower and describe that blueprint of my ideal life
Right.
on the revolving restaurant table,
Yes.
reminding me to begin with the end in mind,
Perfect.
and so on through each location and habit.
You got it. Aim for a recording that's about 20 to 30 minutes long, enough to cover all the key points
Okay.
without becoming overwhelming.
Okay.
Then just play it back as you drift off to sleep, allowing those delta waves to work their magic.
Okay, I love how this combines cutting-edge science with those ancient memory methods,
Right.
It's like we're hacking our brains to learn more effectively.
In a way, we are. We're tapping into our brain's natural learning processes and using them to our advantage.
I like it.
And the beauty is that it requires very little extra effort once you've created your memory palace and recording.
So for our listeners who are ready to take their 7 habits mastery to the next level, here's your mission. Revisit your Kuala Lumpur memory palace. Make those images as vivid and multisensory as possible.
Yes.
Then, record yourself describing those images and the concepts they represent.
Yeah.
Finally, experiment with playing that recording as you drift off to sleep.
Remember, consistency is key.
Yeah.
Just like any habit, the more you practice these memory techniques, the more ingrained they'll become.
Makes sense.
And don't be discouraged if it takes a little time to see results. Every brain is different.
Sure.
What works best for one person might not work the exact same way for another.
It's all about experimenting, finding what resonates with you, and making these techniques your own. This deep dive has given us all a powerful new set of tools for not just understanding information, but making it a part of who we are.
I think so too. Who knows what other areas of your life you could transform using these methods?
Yeah.
Perhaps you could create a memory palace for learning a new language, mastering a complex skill, or even remembering those names and faces that always seem to slip your mind. The possibilities are truly limitless.
We've explored Stephen Covey's 7 Habits in depth, built a memory palace in the vibrant heart of Kuala Lumpur, and even touched upon the frontiers of sleep learning. But the real journey begins now as you take these tools and make them your own.
Remember, the most effective habits are those we practice consistently, those that become woven into the fabric of our lives.
So keep exploring, keep experimenting, and keep those mental gears turning. We'll see you on